Okay. Hello. We are live. Do it live. Fuck it. Do it. Fuck. Okay, I fucked that up. Uh, do it live. Fuck it. See, do you guys want to see my cute face? I don't know. Fucking. Okay. You can't see my cute face though. I should have set up. You always have that feeling when you gotta switch something up. Okay. So, today we are going to be. I'm going to switch to my pen. Today we are going to be. Oh, and I gotta play this. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I gotta play human in the background. Jesus Christ. Okay. Well, he is Jesus. So, the 13th was the death day of Chuck Schuldiner. He was the guitarist and vocalist, visionary, philosopher of death. And he created death metal, although he was very humble, but he created genre, so when everybody talks about death metal, he created death metal as a genre. And I just wanted to pay tribute to him. Very, one of my favorite bands, most influential of all time in terms of my playing. And I've seen him in interviews. He just seemed like a great guy too. So, I often joke about, if like I could trade between, all the fucking shitty trap rappers of my generation and Chuck coming back to life for 15 minutes, I think that'd be a pretty good deal. So he has, so yeah, I just wanted to, his death day was recently, so I just wanted to, it's a little bit somber, pay respects to somebody whose music I really cherish and love. So, I just had a kind of a sweet moment. My black, for 15 seconds, my cold black heart seep through. Okay, so I'm gonna say he kind of has a thinner face as opposed to like a more thick one. So even that, I brought it in with my bass mesh. Again, I know I'm so butthurt about my hard drive that passed, but I did have, like, I collected a lot of, I went on Facebook once, it's like during March, and I got all these like anatomical images, but I managed to salvage this in a time lapse I did with a Leah Gura thing. But this is just a generic skull. So for the side, I couldn't really find any side images for Chuck Schuldiner, so I decided to just kind of go like with a generic image. Okay, so where do I want to start? Okay, so I started with, bring that out a little bit more. With side views, you can kind of get away with that sometimes with the side views. And I probably will do the hair, but I don't know if I want to do particles or probably drag this face out a little bit. I should probably do that for the bass mesh. Just create a separate bass mesh file, put that on MediaFire. It's just dust in my room, I promise. I don't have the cooties. Everything is good. Let me see. So, I know this is an entire hour that I get to talk about death metal and music, so I'm excited. So I guess I'm just going to try and bring the head forward, bring this back, just get some of those general proportions. I mean, I usually just keep this thing as a base mesh because I know I should kind of refine just those more basic proportions. Let's see if there's any comments, because sometimes I miss those 2 cents. All right. Yeah, so I think I want to get like, it's like it comes down and get like this, make this a little bit more defined. Dude, when lack of comprehension comes on, I would play the music, but you know how copyrighted it is. You know, I actually thought about this because this was an idea I had in regard to like, you know, because with there's a lot of editors and people like me on YouTube, right, who would like to use movie stuff and like music and stuff, but as like stock, you know, like a stock footage or a stock music. So it would be cool to pay like, you know, $20, whatever it is, or 50, but you know, even $50 or something, because it is copyrighted music. But like to use it as, because right now if you buy an album, it's not considered legitimate to use it in your videos, but it'd be interesting to get like a temporary, like a kind of like an editor's license, you know, for however much, they'd probably gouge you, you know, but like $50. Like, oh, you want to use, you know, Human by Death, you know, the whole album, $50 or $100, but you get to use it in your videos for ads and shit. So like as like a stock, that'd be cool to have like that as a license. But anybody who's successful and wants to put that together, then go for it. But that's just kind of something I thought. Like I couldn't implement that because it'd be very complicated and you'd have to have the kind of connections to do it. But I just thought that'd be interesting. Okay. But you're free to put in death. I'm putting on human. You probably into the earlier thrashy stuff, because I hear that a lot. Yeah, he's got like a very defined I might dial it back, but that'll work for now. Just kind of dial it in. But yeah, I got the hair tool. I might do that in some future tutorials. But I'll probably just use. Okay, so his eyebrows are kind of a flat shape, so I'll try and keep that in mind. See, they can't, even though it's copyright, they can't stop me from, you know, humming it or whatever. Yeah. So, what can I tell you about death metal? Well, it's interesting that, so I guess, I mean, like, you know, it's kind of interesting as a genre. You know, it's like, I guess for the normies, like anything that's screaming, you know, if you play them like Emperor or Dimmu Borgir or Death, you know, they wouldn't really be able to distinguish any of that. But of course, a true metalhead, you know, or Bullet for My Valentine, or like All Shall Perish, or Bring Me to the Horizon, like, you know, a true metalhead knows, you know, the difference between like deathcore and proper, you know, death metal proper. And, you know, I like some deathcore, especially like the earlier stuff. But I can kind of see, like, there's definitely parts of it that are more poppy, I guess. You know, Cannibal Corpse, and you know, bring me the more emo shit, I guess. I remember that was always a big thing. Uh, I mean, Avenged. You know, I didn't like Avenged Sevenfold when I heard them, but I don't know. They kind of grew on me a little bit, just a little bit. Although they did, what was it? They did rip off. There was like a death riff that they ripped off. I think it was in like. I know the song that they ripped off was in The Sound of Preservation, but I forget which one. Okay, so his chin kind of like pulls down a little bit. Man, I find that brow shape to be very satisfying. I might make eyebrows. Go in there and make some fucking eyebrows. See, you go in, subtle shape. But Human, I think it's one of my favorite metal records of all time because it has so much shit in it. Like it has the metal elements. It's very proggy, but it's not in. You know, the problem I have with like it's like Animal's Leader is great. Like a lot of bands made this proggy stuff, but then it sounded exactly the same. Like there was no variation. It's like Tosin Abasi's great, but every fucking hipster that I fucking went to art school with in high school, you know, rips off the same fucking cliches. It became cliches. You know, it's like, you know, like, but Death, man, just so much like. I mean, I often introduce Human as a record to people who typically aren't even really into metal because, you know, if they're like whatever, because it's musically and even in terms of instrumentals, it's like, okay, yeah, you don't like the vocals, but musically you have to respect this record. Is like one of the greatest records in all of humanity. Let me see, this looks odd. Parker, stop fucking ranting about death metal and focus on sculpting. Let's see. This might be a good way to do it. I might do the nose next. But I did want to make indication of that chin shit. Like you see, it's like it kind of makes this like goes here, slightly very dramatic turn, and then goes back to that. Lack of comprehension. I'm gonna lose my shit if lack of comprehension is next. So good. Nope. Oh, another good one. Secret Face. So like Secret Face, like that's what I'm talking about the like there's parts of, it's so brutal, but then there's parts of it that are so melodic. Like I think he's using add nines. Like definitely, you know, like when you're using like the fifths. Okay, I might just make this even for now. Have a look at that later. But yeah, I definitely want to. I want to be pretty precise about the fucking okay. Okay, I'm gonna, but I do want to have, yeah. We'll go back to that later. The chin shape. Okay, I guess I'll make, yeah, sometimes the ears, although I don't know if this is an angle or not, but whatever. So good. God, so nostalgic. And then he has the brutality, yes! I should do a cover. I should do a bunch more stuff with music next year. One of my goals. Okay. I know, everything always looks very odd. Okay. Should do announcements for these sculpts. Yeah, make that a bit of a thicker nose. Not a fucking thin pile of shit. I wonder if there's... I did see a documentary about death. Like, when did I see it? Like a year ago? It's pretty good. It's at 12. Okay, good. Making sure the detail's not too fucking huge. I just want to restart this entire fucking nose. Why have I been struggling with noses lately? But, I did have this experience once where I was looking at, this, you know, death poster. And, it was very crazy. And, may or may not have been in an altered state. But, purely for meditation. But, like, they just had, the band members just had this look of their face, and it was like they had seen some shit. It's just very intense. There were like all these patterns and shit. But that's the thing that's so crazy about metal is, you know, very like, very, very aggressive music, but then they're just like the sweetest, like the sweetest people you ever know. Like metalheads are just sweetie pies. And some people, I guess like psychologists or some shit, think that it's because like if you listen to metal, you have an outlet for your aggression. Yeah, same thing with like boxing. I've heard the same thing too. It's like the great guys. No. This is an image I found. There we go. Yeah, this will be really good for the nose. Yep, now we're on lack of comprehension. So, yeah, now I get to use this factoid to make me sound smart. So, for this music video, because I've done animated music videos. I don't think I've shot one yet though. But so for the animated, I've shot music videos, but it was for my own guitar takes. not like a band yet. I plan on changing that in the next year though. Pop that cherry. So, but they used one fucking camcorder for the Lack of Comprehension music video. That was one fucking camera, and they did the takes over and over again, and just like, God, I mean, I can only imagine what editing was like in the fucking early 90s for like in an MTV, and you're probably editing with a board. Like, I don't know. I'm fascinated with it. I want to see the editing process. You know, because I've seen documentaries about the mixing process, like analog consoles. But I'm going to have to get this nose right. Dude, and this drummer on Human, I think he was from Cynic, if I'm not mistaken, was, yeah, because I know the few guys from Cynic were in Death when they made Human. The drumming on, I mean, this is just a historic album, Human. This is like one of the top 10, one of the 100 most important records made in all of humanity's history. Well, technically the 20th century, because that's when they started really making records, but it's like, if you are into, it's just one of those things. Okay, this album is more important than Beethoven, all right? I'll go that far. Because, yeah, Beethoven's, like, important to listen to, whatever, if you're in kindergarten. But, like, this is actually, like, I want to listen to that. I mean, like, some of Beethoven I can listen to, but it's like, I'm not going to listen to Beethoven in my free time. Maybe if you're, like, a nerd. I'm not that nerdy. Listen to classical. But there is elements of classical in metal, so, I mean, to a significant degree. Like the harmonic minor shit. But I'm just saying, like, I know I'm overselling at this point, but definitely one of the, you know, especially like rock history, this is one of the top 100. Okay, so I got the, okay. See, but what do I have to do with the nostrils? Okay, so I got to make this. Okay. Okay. I think I gotta pull in. Pull in the nostrils. But this is a halfway decent nose. Yeah, it just takes time. Like in the beginning, reality looked like shit. That's what God said when he created the universe. In the beginning, reality looked like shit. You know, it's like you got to ask yourself, is this the first universe that God ever created? Because sometimes this one is fucked up, but it works. Yeah, I don't know. But it's like you gotta wonder, because like anytime, like you created the first thing in Blender anybody ever made sucked ass, unless they were a savant. It's like, wow, that square you hit Shift A and you did a square without a tutorial. You're a fucking genius. But yeah, that's why, because sometimes, I mean, like, it's a process. I always have to remind myself that. Like Dan Pena says. Dan Pena is he's practically a Zen Buddhist, but with Tang. It's a motherfucking process! Sometimes you gotta go with, on certain things, you gotta go with certain references. Like I'm not going with this for the reference, because I don't want to fuck it up. I'm going with this. But yeah, I hope to get something that looks like Chuck by the end of this. That would be awesome. Because, yeah, it's just attention to detail, process, and all that crap. Does that work? It's hard because of the lighting, but I want to say that essentially works. There's like, nope, fuck that, nope, fuck you. All right, let's see. There's like this little, that kind of shape. Like they kind of, see like, it's like this, and then, especially like right here, and then that. Let me get a better example. See, like you get those angles. Might do it with the swapping between.
This artist forgot that shape, and I remembered it. Look at me, how smart I am with my anatomy. Yeah, I'm in the Blender I'm in the Blender Facebook group. This artist forgot the little shape of the nose.
No, this is a seriously good drawing. Seriously, it's so good. No, it is really good. I'm mocking. Look, I mean, that's the thing I don't get about when people. It's like you put out anything online, it's just like, especially if you put something on Reddit, it's gonna be a shit show. If it's not, it's like, but you know, any engagement is good with your content, so it's like, you know, that's just the way it is. But, you know, if I wanted to be a smart ass, like, oh, look at me, yeah, I put one little shape that this artist did, yeah, I'm so brilliant. I'm gonna get a job making PUBG. Yeah, I can work in the industry now. Oh, I'm so clever. You know, maybe somebody will fucking, you know, put me as like admin in this fucking 3D group. Ugh. Cause I'm so fucking clever. I had to deal with that for a while, in case you didn't notice. Look, it's just, yeah. Social media is a fucking cesspool. It's very useful, but it's a goddamn fucking cesspool. Oh, look at that. See, I'm proud of myself. I don't even know how this happened. It's probably just because habit. But you definitely want to have... See, you don't want your nostrils to be like that. Well, that was a shitty example. But you want... There's like... Yeah, so see, the nostril is over here. And there's this shape. And then it protrudes out for the lips. But I'm happy. I'm fucking happy. Yeah, I'm mocking them. Mocking the people in the community. We don't dare do that. Alright. Let's make this about Chuck. Let's be positive. How do I get rid of this grease pencil? Because this is sacred. Am I listening to Cosmic Sea? I think I am. Do. Dude, especially Cosmic Sea. I mean, I'll always share that song with non-metalheads because it's instrumental. It's fuck. I mean, that song is jazz fusion, or at least very strongly influenced. Because I think a lot of them were into like Chick Corea. Dude, I mean, Frank Gambale is awesome. Chick Corea is great. Like, because it took me a while to get into jazz. I mean, you know, especially if you're into like video editing and stuff, that can definitely, it's helpful to have like a very worldly music palette. You know, like look at Hans Zimmerman. I mean, like he'll even use heavy metal, like metal stuff, but he'll have like Oriental Arab, kind of Middle Eastern, I think. Like a lot of, an electronic and orchestral, of course, very heavily orchestral. But I mean, like jazz, like Charlie Parker and what is it, like Giant Steps and all that stuff. I mean, I think it's good. It's like a soundtrack for something, but it's a little bit. It's very abstract, but I like a lot of fusion, with like a little bit of like shredding and stuff. But jazz is very difficult to play because it's like you're changing your fucking key every 10 seconds, probably faster than that. Melodically, it's one of the most difficult. And I had this jazz instructor who was like, all these heavy metal, it's like, yeah, like these heavy metal, what key are they they're all playing in E minor. But, but it's true. It's very true. Jazz is very difficult melodically. Okay, how the fuck are we going to get this chin shape? Because the lips are going to be easy. The lips are going to be fucking easy as shit. How do I get this goddamn chin shape? Magical chin face. Okay, so it goes down. No, this is a beautiful artwork. No, but it does kind of have that over here. A little bit. It has a little bit of that indication and that nose shape. But this is a great piece. This is phenomenal. No, but I know what these fucking anatomy. I bet these people just like they're just fucking perverts. It's just like, some people get off to fucking, weird shit. So some people probably get off every time they see like a geometrically perfect anatomical face. No, I just like to shit on people. It's great. But I don't know. I mean, and I was talking to somebody a while back because I went to this live. They had a model and you draw it and everything. And he was saying, like, what can happen is you can in the beginning when you make art, it's very quirky, but over time it could get too polished. And I think that's the best thing to do is like have elements of the realism and the style. Because once you understand the anatomy, it's like whatever. But yeah, I mean, I have a whole photorealism rant. Photorealism is good, because there's even elements of this drawing that are photorealistic. It's good to learn, anatomy, proportions, photorealism, and I would say as a beginner, learn that. But, like, in terms of content that I like older games than the fucking new shit that comes out because you have to spend 1 billion hours just learning it, and it's just tedious to fucking play. It's like, I want to just go in and be immersed in a world. It'd be a fucking realistic game. Paying taxes. Just sitting in a fucking office, taking a shit, and paying taxes. That would be a fucking realistic ass game. If we really want to go there in that direction of like, my photorealism. But anyways, I do have a podcast for ranting. But okay. So now we're going to be completely positive. Use that crease brush. But, I mean, it sucks that I can't play Death on this, but I mean, an advantage is um, you know, it's like you don't want artists to get fucked over because that happens a lot. So, you know, it's good for them to be credited because people do that. I mean, I knew a guy who fucking he made songs on SoundCloud and somebody fucking claimed him and put copyright on that shit. So it's good to be protected. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, usually I've gotten better at lips. I used to have a rough time with them. Ooh. Is he starting to look like Chuck yet? Getting there. And then there's like an indentation. Yeah, yes. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm fucking talking about. I'm starting to love sculpting. See, it's just the more you do it, the better you get. Well, that was easy. See, it's just a collection. You know, I've thought about doing a tutorial about, you know, how to make a mouth, and there are those tutorials out there, you know, how to make an eye. I think about it's particularly how to make a fucking eye, you know, because it's and in the beginning that's great, but it's not really about making a great eye so much as because if you made an eye that was decent, that's well, let's say you make an eye that's incredible, but it's out of place. Um, you know, versus a decent eye or a decent, you know, whatever insert body part. Um, Pretend I said something clever. Um, like, it's better to have the like a, just decent things, but they're in proportionate to each other than something that's like super detailed, but then it looks off because it's not in the right place. So it's like the placement. Yeah, this is kind of a caricature. Add like a little bit of get that to protrude. It's kind of like a caricature, giving a big ass chin. It's a little bit more of like a cartoony, but it does have the shape I want. I don't know, like I would love to just make some video games that have like that mid 2000 style. I mean, with me, I will admit the reason why I like those games is because I grew up with them. But I was having an actually somebody I teach guitar to sometimes. I was having an argument about him with this, about how like basically all video games after 2013 are just garbage. I mean, there's exceptions, but I'm just saying in terms of trends. How does this look? Dude, I remember the day that I actually bought this album. I got Human by Death. What was it? It was this, I think it was God the Savage Garden. It was God the Savage Garden by Dimmu Borgir. God, I love it. It's like, there's just nothing like it, man. You know, just having bands and shit that you're into. You know, people who live in Normieville will never understand. Oh, oh shit, this is individual thought patterns. Yeah, I wanted symbolic. Any comments? Oh, hello, Helgi. Me and Helgi have, from a Huki, might have something in the works for next year. I'm not gonna, that can be up to your imagination, but he's great. So speaking of fantastic bands, I recommend you go to Huki and you buy all his music because it's fantastic. But you know, I'm fortunate that I get to, you know, work with things that I would just enjoy, you know, just kind of listening to or like watching or just, you know, I get to make, you know, work with people whose content I genuinely enjoy. And I will say, you know, in terms of music, I really like things, not just like original in the sense of like, okay, you know, I mean, whatever. But, you know, things that have just such a unique combination of things that it's just, that arranged in such a certain way that it's incredible. And Huki has that. You know, he plays guitar on a lot of stuff, some metal instruments, a little bit of shredding, and, you know, electronic, a bit of psytrance. You know, it's like very ambient, but, you know, a lot of good energy. So, yeah, and like the Leo video was just so much fun to me. I mean, that was just, the response, you know, it didn't go viral or something, but the response on Leo's forum and all the comments on our channels was just fucking hilarious. I mean, that was, in terms of like engagement with the community, that one was probably the best. But yeah, so go over there, check out his music, and you know, consider buying an album of his. So let's see. Support him. He's great. But I will say, what I can say is I've been doing a bunch of rigging tutorials. And, you know, if you know what rigging is, you know what comes after. So, I will say that about our next project. But I know it's kind of, I'm dedicating this to Chuck, but he's a good guy. You know, I don't really want to do any self promotion for my own stuff because that would be odd. But he's great, great dude. It's always I love doing this. Like, yeah, that's something I anticipate doing next year is a bit of music videos. Animated, filmed, etc. Let's see. So, on Chuck's face, there's, and I might leave the mouth alone after this, but there's like this. There's like this. I know, I hate that I do that. There's this just means that I'm stalling. My brain is stalling. Let's see. That kind of looks like it. Kind of has like a comic look to it. See this. So it's kind of like with this, it's like this is whole space is just kind of filled in. So I guess it could go either way. You can kind of, that's the way you could do it if you wanted to get a look like that, but I'm going to backtrack and keep it like that as an indication. Alright. Alright, so I guess I'll do the neck. But it's weird, like metal and you know, kind of like comic book people and horror people and maybe, you know, definitely some H.R. Giger. You know, there's like a lot of intersection and maybe even like, you know, psychedelics. Like there's a intersection of a lot of these communities. We're all kind of misfits. Okay, so I think the last thing, I didn't use a mat cap. Are you kidding me? I didn't use a fucking mat cap this entire fucking time. Wow. No, actually that's kind of, it's kind of an achievement. Because you're supposed to get a, I know the blue one, like if you use that blue mat cap, it, you know, you want to get like a good neutral representation of what you're making. Okay, I'm just making sure. Let me get this, no, you want to get in there with the clay strips. Bring it out that way. Like Crystal Mountain. Is not a game. That would be good. Boop. What should I do for these lips? Zero tolerance. What if the entire, for the rest of this video, I just repeated the words in the most like monotone voice? It's kind of more, it's like, it's almost like, yeah, like that. But yeah, you know, I mean, that's another thing is I will say about death is you know, within death metal as a genre, there's, you know, like the gore and the guts and the satanic imagery. Um, but death was very thoughtful. You know, they really went beyond all that stuff. And I mean, I like the, you know, the Cannibal Corpse and the you know, deicide, but it was like kind of theatrics, because that's what it really is. You know, it's like theatrics. It just has shock value, like a horror film or something. But you know, death was like reality is horrifying. You know, the human mind is horrifying. You know, which is you know, it's kind of, it's very compelling. I remember like some of these bands, like their lyrics. Dude, like you'd have a band where it would be like one of their songs, like their lyrics are very like Cradle of Filth, right? Like their lyrics would be very profound and Shakespearean and intellectual, but then they'd have a T-shirt that says Jesus is a cunt. Yeah, they had a whole like they had a whole series where there was like the mom of some fan of theirs, and she didn't agree with it or whatever, but at the end they like got along. Yeah, reality TV back then was very weird. Had some cool shit. Anyways, I wonder if there's like a book out there about death and like their recording process of making Human and their albums and stuff like that. Because sometimes I want to do that though for a record. It'd be so cool to like film the whole creation of. I know Dark Tranquillity did that. Oh, I know what I should do. There we go. So I don't have to go through that fucking process. Oh, you know what? I'm just gonna like guess randomly like where the fucking eye should be. Okay, switch to my mouse. I guess it's an okay setup for now. But it's one thing I have to do. I should probably, there's like a bunch of shit I have to do to make stuff less of a hassle. Okay, so where are his pupils? See, this is useful. It's like, oh fuck you. I don't want that subsurface scatter bullshit, which is also in a top secret project. Yeah, we can do the anime eye with the reflection. But it definitely helps to if you get the iris and like the pupil and all that shit. Okay, delete this one because I apply the mirror modifier because when you're actually posing it, it's like you have to get the eyes to move in a certain way, and with the mirror fire, see, like if I do it this way and try, like let's say I want them to like look to the side, but if you do it with a mirror modifier, you can't. So, but if you apply, and then individual origins, see now he's looking at himself. But anyways, that's just a tip. Okay, so just wipe the tip. Yeah, I'm trying to get a good size. So it kind of looks like It's like 40%. It's not quite at 50% because then you get a weird look. But it's like 40%. I know, like his brows kind of look more straight. I mean, they look pretty straight in mine, but yeah, it just helps to have the. Well, because if you have your eye and your pupil and all that shit, like aligned, you know, the iris and the pupil, your eye and your pupil all lined up and shit. Okay. I'm just gonna sculpt with a mouse with the eyes. That's what I'm gonna do. Give fucking googly eyes. Okay, so this kind of looks like. Let me see. Yeah, that kind of looks like 40%. Okay. Oh, yep, and Shift D, Alt G, move to another layer. That way, if the eyes turn out just absolutely horrible, I'm not fucked. Usually I do it. Usually I come through, but it's just better to have it and not need it, and the needed is not have it, as Roger and American guy once said. It's a great saying. Chuck's like, I'm very disappointed in you. Okay. And now we can use a matte cap. What the fuck did I just do? See, look how tiny this is. Anyways. I think at some point what I might do is look at ZBrush tutorials, but using Blender, because it's like I know what to do and I know what they're doing. They're using like a clay strips. I was thinking that might be good to do at some point. God, this is making my eyes hurt. I'm just gonna do it in this. See, yeah, but I want to get those thin eyelids, you know? I don't want them to just be... I don't, like a thick fucking Pixar eyelid. I want to get like a nice thin... God damn, those fucking solos of Chuck are just the tone. I want to get, some of these bands just have incredible tone, and I want to replicate them perfectly. And the fractal axe effects. I don't know. He used like a Marshall, I think like a valve state. You can get it pretty close because Robert Englund, the Swede, I love Swedes. I should just like text some of my anatomy friends and be like, can you tell me what how to improve upon this. Okay. Just break down the shapes. Probably, I mean, the best way to, I've found to get the thin eyelids is to put more material above them, which I will demonstrate in a minute. It's not, you're not going to get it with a fucking pinch modifier or the pinch brush. Pinch modifier. What the fuck am I talking about? And sometimes I'm like, what the fuck? The pinch brush. Okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do the blue one and feel better about myself. Nope, not this blue one. Yeah, that's it. Anytime I sculpt and I use this one, it looks so good. But, yeah. You know, it's sad, man. Like, you know, a lot of your idols pass away. You know, Lemmy passed a few years, it was like 2015, I want to say. It happens. Everything's transitory. But, you know, I think the 90s, you know, because Human came out in the 90s, was, the 90s was a time when, like, underground music started to outperform mainstream music. Because, you know, in the 80s we had, like, all the thrash bands and the glam bands, which were, the thrash bands weren't entirely mainstream, but, like, relatively, you know, like, Headbangers Ball, right, mainstream, you know. But when we had, like, Motley Crue and all that stuff. But, and Def Leppard. But, I don't know, like, mainstream rock, you know, just grunge and shit, just kind of, it was okay, but, like, underground music, like, if I had to fucking put, like, Nirvana against Emperor, I'm gonna choose Emperor. End of story. You know, that's just how it is. Yeah, his eyes are tricky. This part needs to be. Sometimes these angles are tough. Okay. Get in there. And sometimes, I remember when I was just starting out with this, I would, like earlier this year, I was starting to sculpt a bit more. I would sculpt with the picture right behind. But I think the problem with that is it makes, you can get something okay, but you're not really thinking about the placement of shit. Yeah, I think that's starting to look like him. I know that this is a huge shape. But especially now, I would especially say now with social media, like that's like mainstream music is just fucking trash. It's like top 40 stuff is just awful. But what's great about now is there is alternatives. You know, you can listen to, people can put it out on their YouTube channel, their SoundCloud. So there's a lot of like really good underground stuff, just like, I was saying about the 90s. Hashtag Kurt Cobain didn't kill himself. That actually is a theory, is that his wife killed him. But I'm not going to get into that. There's an internet you can... That's for you to look up. Let's see. I go in a lot of directions on these. Okay, so from the front, these... And even there. Let me look at... That might be helpful. Yeah. See, we got thin eyebrows. Eyelids. See, but how do I... What's a good way from the side? Yeah, you see what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring it forward because it looks odd. I'll take it. Okay. See, but the side, it's a good way to make, just trying to find a good way to fuck with the side. Well, I don't need to do that because I'm going to... Well, I'm gonna just sign of perseverance. I want leprosy. Right, yeah, I'll do spiritual healing because I have a funny story about this one. This is when they were more thrashy. So, I actually have a funny tidbit about spiritual healing. If you look in, there's the collective ego video that I have. I forget where exactly that I... in terms of time code. But if you watch Collective Ego, there's a part where I have this like Kenneth Copeland as a preacher, and then he's speaking, and then I flash the spiritual healing part with the evangelical preacher, and there's like money out of his pocket, and the patients, and like, terrified, and like, what the fuck. So that's a little Easter egg that I put in the Collective Ego video. Okay, so it looks like... Okay, there's a little bit of an angle. But I'm going to say... That looks pretty good. It's still... Okay. Yeah. Yeah, it's decent. I think it's just like materials. So this looks pretty good.
Remember, sculpting fucking... Why are you sculpting in orthograph? Why are,
Sculpt in perspective every now and again. It's like, I don't want to sculpt in perspective. You know why? Because it looks like that. Looks like a bulging turd. If you do it to 80, makes it better though. But fuck that. I'm not fucking. You know what? I don't care. You know what? I think Kent Trammell is God. But if Kent Trammell is God, you know, is gonna tell me, oh well. Fucking, you know, work in perspective mode. I'm gonna be like, no. I think he did say that though. I'm gonna be like, no, I'm stubborn. I'm a stubborn little shit. I don't fucking want to. It's fucking stupid. Looks like shit. Makes everything perspective just looks like ass. Like, I'll just put it. I'll deal with perspective when I get to camera. All right, that's my position on fucking. Yeah, you want this to be very dense. Like a Mora. I don't know. I'm not gonna say like both of them. Like both the people who ran for office. Okay, like both of them. I was not gonna say a political particular one because they're both dense. But yeah, they're dense like both of them. See, I think this mat cap really is designed to make. Okay, I'll put it up. You know, I'll just, you know, I'll do some decent ears before I do that. Because I want to promote good habits. I know, I think almost every time I'm like, I'm too fucking lazy for this, I don't want to deal with it. I've been like, no, I'm doing it anyways. Because I want to set a good example. No, anytime you're like, that's in life. Anytime you're like, oh, I don't want to do this shit. It's like that means you especially should do it. You know, your fucking homework, your taxes, your fucking meditation habit, or working out, or talking to that cutie. It's like, yes, you should. Because you'll get good outcomes. Always do what's emotionally most difficult. I don't know if did I reference that before? I think I did. Though the ears. Yeah. I could kind of see some of the, like, definitely in terms of a lot of the brutal stuff. Like in a lot of the riffage and leprosy. Like, that is so cool to see, like I was saying about style of an artist. To see it even from the very beginning. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. So now, I don't know how dense I want to make it. I think 7. How dense is this? I might do 5. Because if you're going to fucking do this shit and go over... Because basically, okay, so there's the fucking eyelid, which we did. But then there's this fold of skin. So, right, there's like the eyelid. But then, right, and then there's this over here, which goes over the eyelid.
I'm so smart with my anatomy. I'm special.
All right. I swear to God, I just, I know, I gotta let some shit go. But, like, being some certain figures in their super chats, it's like they get frustrated with that. I mean, even though that is literally their livelihood. Look, if I had to deal with, thank you. Likewise. I mean, I would do it. You know, deal with like super chats. I mean, that's not a bad way to make a living. There's worse things in life than frustrating super chats and you know, Facebook comments and the group. But like, I don't know. I try to have precise questions about things. And, you know, but like Blender group people, Facebook groups, it's like they've always been snobs. Like I remember I would go in with like, and this was like 2014, I want to say. This wasn't when, you know, you have everything we have now. So they'd be like, if you just ask some questions about, they'd just be like, well, fucking Google it. It's like, well, it's not on Google. Why do you think I'm coming to you? It's just, yeah. So it's just, it has a legacy of being snobby. Yeah, let's. Yeah, let's get it there too. Yeah, very thrashy. I mean, thrashy is fun when it's like a concert, but it can get very repetitive. Though, I mean, a lot of genres are like that, where it's very, you know, if I turn on house music, I know what to expect. There's not really going to be anything that's like... Trying to just get this fold though, and then get it to blend. Okay. Now I'm trying to, because it has a little bit of like, fuck. Has a little bit of a frown. I'm trying to make it a little bit more straight. Why so sad? That is tough. How to get that shape, but without it looking all frowny. How have I done it on previous? But it did look pretty good. Other than the frowny shape, looked pretty good. Maybe if I do it with the mask. Maybe a little bit less detail. Maybe if I re-crease it, that'll do it. Yeah. Gotta work on my side views. But yes. Okay. I think I'm gonna just work on the... How long have I been streaming? Yeah, hour and 21. But let's see. Yeah, that's starting to look like it now. Nah, I'm gonna undo that. That can be done with like particles or so on. Okay, so I'll just do... I'll just do some hair really quick. So you kind of just... Yeah, like that shape. Like a perm. Yeah, it looks kind of weird in the beginning. Like a claymation or something. part slightly. To the middle. So here's where we get rid of the mirroring. He had curly hair, but yeah, if the hair is kind of a disappointment, I do apologize. It's getting kind of late, but I thought the head turned out pretty good. I mean, you can always go on blend swap. If you want to go on blend swap and, you know, do the Beeple way. Look, it's the Beeple way, all right? You make a model of something that, you know, you get a Creative Commons hair on blend swap or CG Trader, smack that on, it's beautiful. You know, it's industry standard. But I thought we got the face pretty good. Pretty good. You know, there's always things you can improve on, but it's a pretty good face. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I don't know how. It's probably easier on a female face, but whatever. Like, I mean, to do like a hair, long hair. Yeah, you could go into all right. All right, if you keep sculpting at it, that's a homework assignment for you. But for me personally, I'll probably just, you know, yeah, keep it like so. Let me get the right mat cap. So I can put it on my story for my Instagram. That one probably is the best, but I'll go with, and I'll just stay all night. Just spend 3 hours going through mat caps. I'll go with that one because it does look pretty good. But yeah, so I mean that's a thing, a key thing sometimes with those thinner lids, because like before. So I mean you'll find when you're sculpting. Let me duplicate these fucking. I can switch to my mouse for the night actually, but a key takeaway I guess with this one is with the eyes. You know, you'll find some of your sculpts, you know, people kind of have thick eyelids like this. I think mine are more like that. Holy fuck, there's a duplicate. I wonder what moron did that was responsible for that. So, but again, when you'll notice there's like kind of a fold over the eyes. What you do is what I did, and I discovered this earlier this year, is I fucking masked that shit out and just put a lump over it. You know, be careful. You don't want them to look too frowny. I still gotta find. There we go. Oh, thank goodness. Control middle click. I know because you saw that earlier. Okay, but that's how you do it. Yeah, you can. I mean, they look a little bit frowny in this, but that is how I do it to get those kind of thin thin eyelids. Is I just mask it, get a very high detail, because otherwise it looks like shit. You know, after you got a good shape of the eyelid. And then you will be set. What? Yes. Again, yeah, that's what I would recommend is, you know, get some hair on, create a CG Trader or a blend swap. Because this is, you know, more of a sculpting thing, and, you know, just the curls, it just wouldn't work. But we do have a good representation of the face. So that is tonight's live stream. I hope you found it to be valuable, and see you next time. Peace.